So I wanted to talk about my experiences with the PS4. I just got a PS4 recently. When I first booted up my PS4 for the first time, for some reason my TV wasn't recognizing the PS4. I got no signal from it. So I did a quick Google search and it looks like it wasn't my PS4. Actually, what happened was it looks like some TVs out of the box are not recognized, and especially I heard problems, especially if you have a smart TV. You may need to do an update to your smart TV. What I actually ended up doing, which a lot of people recommended, they actually recommended trying another TV or using a monitor, and I did that, and it finally recognized the PS4. And then once I actually updated the system and got it up and running, I went back to my TV, and then it accidentally recognized my PS4. So if you do get a PS4 brand new and your TV is not being recognized, you may need to try a different TV or a monitor. Don't assume that your PS4 is actually crapped out. A lot of people have said that it's due to the fact that you don't have the latest update out of the box, and that may be the issue. I'm not 100% sure about that, but once I got it up and running, that was a very good sign. One thing I was having an issue with, I actually haven't had a PlayStation in a while, and I was having a problem signing into my PS4 account. I mean, it was easy for me to actually get my account, but when I actually tried to verify my account, for some reason, when it went to my email, the box that you're supposed to click in my email, I couldn't hover my mouse over it and actually click on it. But luckily, after resending the email, it did work, but I did have to try about 5 times, which is very odd. I don't know why that is an issue. Some people actually had to contact Sony, and some other people had the same issue I have, where they couldn't verify their email. And it's frustrating too, because if you want to play online, or if you want to use the PSN store, or especially me, I actually want to use the trophies on my account. You can't actually use even the trophies if you don't if you're not signed in to the PlayStation Network, which is kind of odd. You would think that you don't need a PlayStation Network account if you just want to use trophies, but unfortunately that is the case for the system. Now, for the system itself, I can't really say too much about it because I've only had the system now one day, but what I can say from my experiences, I am loving my PS4 way more than my Xbox One. If you didn't know, I do have a video discussing why I switched from the Xbox One to the PS4. Link will be in the description if you actually want to watch that video. But overall, I just love my PS4 so far. Granted, I only had it one day, so I can't say too much about it, but I love the interface. It actually, the interface of the PS4 does remind me of the Switch, just because they're very similar, and it's just very, very fluid and very, very fast. One thing I've always had a problem with my Xbox One, now I've had my Xbox One about let's say 2 years, so I've had some time with my Xbox One. It's not like I've only had my Xbox one day to really not give you any information, but one thing I didn't like about the Xbox One is the interface. I just thought it was clunky. It was kind of laggy. I wouldn't say really laggy to where it's not usable, but it was laggy enough to where it bothered me. A lot of the times too, when you're scrolling through your friends list on your Xbox One, it would take a little bit time for the controller, at least for mine, to recognize like the inputs, and it would be laggy. I don't know if that's every Xbox One. Granted, I only own the Xbox, the chunky original one. I never owned the Xbox One S, so I don't know if the Xbox One S is faster and things like that. I don't want to say that for sure, but with my Xbox, it was just laggy, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't my machine. It wasn't like busted or anything. It was just the way the user interface was. Honestly, I've actually likened the Xbox 360 user interface more than I like the Xbox One interface. But overall, I love the PS4 interface. I can't really comment too much on it. The reason I actually got the PS4 is because I actually wanted to play Persona 5, and I actually haven't started playing Persona 5 yet. I know when I start playing Persona 5, it is going to be a very, very, very big time sink. That thing is just going to take so much time. I think the main story is at least 80 to 90 hours, and if you do everything possible, it racks up over 100, and they also have New Game Plus, so that game is very, very meaty. Honestly, I wish more people knew about the Persona series because it's a niche thing. It's not like everybody in the world knows about it. It's not like your Zelda or Mario's are big AAA games. It is a big AAA game, but only certain people know about it, which is unfortunate. Overall, I think I'm going to be very happy with my PS4. There's like so many games coming out in 2017. It's for me personally, I think it's worth it to get a PS4. I'm not saying you can't get an Xbox One and be happy with it, but for me in 2017, I think the two best systems to pick up are going to be the Switch and the PS4 because there's so much coming out. Honestly, if I had more time on my hands and things like that, I would definitely be picking up more games on the on the PS4. Honestly, it was hard for me to choose between Persona 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn. I was at the store thinking to myself, should I get Persona 5 or should I get Horizon Zero Dawn or even get the Kingdom Hearts collection? Because if you didn't know, I am actually a very big Kingdom Hearts fan. I actually grew up with it when it first came out. The first time I saw Kingdom Hearts was actually on Disney Channel, and one thing that impressed me about the Kingdom Hearts series was the fact that a guy on TV was like, this game took me about 3 years to make, and I was blown away because, well, that was the first time I ever heard how long it took to make a video game, so I thought that was impressive. Now, some games take 5-6 years to make, so yeah, I was really blown away. So you can see also, there's a lot of stuff on PS4 I am willing to play. Did I buy it just to play Persona or just to play Horizon Zero Dawn? No, definitely not. There is a lot of games. I also am very ashamed to say I've never played the Uncharted series and I never played the Last of Us series. A lot of people say a lot of those games are like life-changing. Their stories are so good, and I'm not surprised people are giving those high recommendations as well. Also, I did actually, speaking of the PS4, I was gonna say that's all, but I did actually try doing remote play. I didn't do remote play on Vita, but I did remote play on the PS Vita TV. If you don't know what the PS Vita TV is, basically a small set-top box like a Roku, but it plays PS Vita games on your TV. It's a very small box. Unfortunately, the thing about the PS Vita TV is the fact that it actually didn't sell well, so you can pick that thing up on Amazon for like $30. It's actually good for remote play, but if you're thinking about buying it for using it strictly to play PS Vita games, I wouldn't recommend it. It's grainy on the TV, and a lot of games aren't supported for some reason. It'll say this game is not playable on the PS Vita TV. So if you're thinking about playing PS Vita games, you're better off playing them on the actual PS Vita than playing them on the PS Vita TV connected to your TV. But I did try, and fortunately it does work. And before I talk about that, I actually want to talk about something too. I didn't know for a factor for me, since I haven't used a PlayStation system in a while, I actually had multiple accounts, and the problem with the PlayStation TV is if you're thinking about using remote play, you do have to be connected to the same account on both systems. For instance, I was connected to a different account on my PS Vita TV, and on my PS4 it was a different account, and when I tried to actually use it, it said please be on the same account, so I had to go through that. It was kind of a pain actually, because the verification thing was bothering me, and it was just kind of hard to set up. But once I set it up, it was smooth. It was actually pretty good. Okay, but to be honest, I actually never actually tried playing the actual game. I was only in the menus looking around in the system, so I can't tell you how laggy it would be during game, but I don't think it was too bad. Some people are complaining it's kind of laggy. Some people said it's horrible. It just really depends on your situation, how many people are on your Wi-Fi network, how good your connection is, and things like that. It actually recommends that your PS4 should be actually on connected through internet, so a hardwired. Now my PS4 currently at the moment is not hardwired, and just browsing around the main interface of the actual PS4, it was actually surprisingly not laggy. One thing I did notice right off the bat with the PlayStation TV Remote Play was the fact that you can definitely tell it's definitely not 1080p. It's more like 720p. You can definitely see. Now in game, I can't tell you if it's what it's going to look like, but just playing the menus, it was definitely 720p. So for the most part, if you want to bet the best experience, you're probably obviously going to have to play on your PS4. Because you're probably going to get the better quality, and it won't be laggy, especially if you're playing shooters and games like online multiplayer games. I don't know how much it's really going to affect your experience. I know with a lot of shooting games and a lot of multiplayer games, you need the lag to be pretty much non-existent. As long as it's pretty good, I think for the most part you can get away with it. But I can see the PlayStation TV being really a box to where if you're playing a lot of single player games, I think that's when the remote play is really going to be good for, because like I said, multiplayer games you need like zero lag, so I don't know how well that is going to affect your experience. I'm also, oh yeah, one thing I actually like on the PlayStation a lot, I love the live on PlayStation feature. It's basically a feature that shows live broadcasts from Twitch and YouTube, and you can see a lot of different broadcasts from people streaming on their PlayStation 4s, and I absolutely love that feature. I was actually in there looking at other broadcasts, and the cool thing is you can actually chat with the broadcaster as well. It's just so fun using that feature. I absolutely love that feature. There's still so much I love about the PS4. I'm still trying to learn about the PS4, looking at the user interface and things like that. One nice feature I do love about the PlayStation brand as a whole, not just the PS4, I love that games are cross platform. That's something Nintendo should have done last generation with the 3DS and the Wii U. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about where if you buy a game on, say, the PS3 or if you buy a game on the PS Vita, specifically indie games, not really AAA games, not even third-party games or first-party games, specifically indie games. What I mean by that is if you buy, for instance, Shovel Knight, if you buy it on PS3 or PS Vita, and they have it on PS4, then you automatically get the other version for free. When I signed into my PS4 for the first time, I absolutely got a whole bunch of downloads, and I was like, why do I have some downloads waiting for me? Oh, that's right, they do crossplay. So if you buy it on PS3 or PS Vita, you pretty much get every other version for free, which I think is a brilliant idea. If Nintendo is listening, they should have done that. But with the Switch being a hybrid console, they don't need to do that now, because once you buy like a virtual console game or an indie game, you get two versions of it. You get a handheld version and you get console version all in one. So I can see there's really no point for Nintendo to do that now. They should have done that way back in the 3DS and Wii U games, because I remember there's so many indie games and so many virtual console games that I wanted to play on a big screen or I want to take on the go, but like, do I really want to pay again to play on the go or play it on a TV? They should have been cross-platform games. I think there are some indie developers that were actually giving you both versions for free, so it depended on the developer and it wasn't mandatory from Nintendo. But overall, so far, I am actually loving my PS4. Also, considering the noise of the PS4 Slim that I have, I can safely say that it's not actually very noisy. I think it sounds pretty well. I can't say over time, because it seems like a lot of times over time they either age bad or just having them a long time affects them. But overall, I can say it's a very quiet system. And actually, I like the design of the system as well. I like that it's slanted. It kind of reminds me of a cake. I just actually like the design of the PS4. And I was surprised, too, with the PS4 Slim, especially how slim the PS4 Slim is. It's a pretty slim system. It's definitely pretty small. I can't say it's smaller than the Xbox One S, but obviously compared to the original PS4 and the original Xbox One. The original Xbox One looks like the VCR. I remember when I was using my Xbox One, someone came up to me before and was like, is that a VCR? I was like, nope, that's a current gen console. Are you kidding me? That looks straight like a VCR. Even with the original PS4, I've always loved the design of all the PS4s. I just love how they're not just a rectangular box. They kind of make them slanted. I love the design. Sure, it is still a black box, but at least it's giving it some personality. Because if you look at consoles as a whole, a lot of consoles are boring, like the Wii U and a lot of the older gen consoles like the Xbox 360, PS3, especially the Xbox One, just looks like a VCR. So I am glad that Sony did decide to go with a slanted design for the PS4. One thing I did find out about with the PS4 is if you're trying to use optical audio, it looks like that's not a feature on the PS4 Slim. So if you want optical audio, you'll either have to get the original PS4, so the fat one they made, the original PS4, or you're going to have to get the PS4 Pro. I'm pretty sure the PS4 Pro uses optical audio. One thing I actually saw in the menu, which someone told me at the store that it didn't support. Someone told me at the store that the PS4 Slim specifically, or any other PS4s, unless you had the PS4 Pro, didn't support HDR. But when I looked around, it actually does support a HDR, because in the settings there's actually a feature for HDR. So what I think they did was update all the PS4. So if you have a PS4, at least the PS4 Slim, it does support HDR. So if you have an HDR compatible TV, then you'll be good to go on that front. Also, they do actually, I was browsing around the PlayStation Store, and they do have some backwards compatible games. They don't have any PS3 games, and I don't think the PS4 is backwards compatible. That's one thing I do respect with the Xbox One, even though I don't have an Xbox One anymore. I do respect the fact that backwards compatibility is there, and a lot of people use it. And I think it gives the box more games. But in terms of like just games in general, Xbox wasn't doing it for me. But when I look back on the store, I did see on the PS4, they did have PS2 games on the actual PSN store. So if you're thinking about some PS2 games, there are some on there. The only thing is they don't have a lot of PS2 games, and I wish they would have had some PS3 games on there as well, and some PS1 games. but they don't do that. If you want really a lot of old games, then I would recommend getting a PS Vita or getting a PS3. That's where it's really going to shine right there for backwards compatibility, in my opinion. But overall, like I said, I am very happy with my PS4 so far, and I definitely can't wait to play Persona 5. I can easily talk hours on hours on hours of Persona 5, even without playing the game so far. I've been trying to look up people talk about Persona 5 without any spoilers, but it's hard to really see reviews and things like that on the internet without looking at spoilers of the game, because the game is really a story-based driven game. I just can't wait to play. I'm really, 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 really excited inside. Yes, I don't know how I'm juggling all these games too, with Breath of the Wild coming out, with Persona, with Horizon Zero Dawn. Next month we have the Crash Bandicoot series coming out, and oh my god, it is a great year to be a gamer. In my opinion, I feel like 2017 is the best year to be a gamer. Also, there is a game that's on my mind too, Nier. I've never really thought about picking it up, but after seeing footage, I think Nier is definitely a game that I actually personally want to play. Also, I have one problem. I did actually end up picking up the. I said in the other video, I ended up actually picking up the Infinite Warfare bundle, and right here I actually have the code for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I have a problem with this. The thing is, when I actually got my Infinity Warfare bundle from the store, they actually let me trade in Infinity Warfare because I actually wasn't going to play it. Thinking about this would be a good game to play, but if you look right here, you can go ahead and pause the video, or you can read this right here, but it says you have to have the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare disc inserted to your PS4 to play this, which is a weird thing, and I don't own that. And the thing it says you need the disc version. Why can't you use a digital version? I'm not sure if they misprinted the disc on there that you need the disc, or can you use a digital version of Infinity Warfare if you have it installed. But it looks like you do have to have Infinity Warfare to play this. So that if that is true, that's really a bad sign from Call of Duty. Call of Duty knew that pretty much people weren't going to buy the Infinite Warfare. It was going to sell bad. People are tired of the whole futuristic thing, so they're pretty much forcing people to have Infinity Warfare. I just wish you can play this on your own, because this game does look good, and I actually did play this. I did play Modern Warfare 1 when it came out long ago, back in 2017, and I do love Modern Warfare. Now I'm just going to pretty much have to get rid of the code, because I'm not going to buy Infinite Warfare just to play Modern Warfare. I actually looked around. The game's not going for too high, but it's still going for $20. And just for me to say, well, this game's worth $20 to play this, I don't know. I could actually play it would just be like me rebuying Modern Warfare for $20, but I don't really know too much. It looks like it could be promising. I don't know how well the graphics how well it's going to look in 1080p. If Call of Duty Modern Warfare would look any better, I might consider buying Infinity Warfare if I can find it cheap. 20 is not too bad if I just want to play this, or I might just end up giving this away to somebody. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm a little bit disappointed that you have to have the Infinity Warfare disc, but I'm not surprised. That's how they got around people not buying the game, because I knew a lot of people actually wanted Modern Warfare, but you can't buy it separately. You have to buy it in a package with Infinity Warfare, and now I'm finding out you can't just sell Infinity Warfare. You have to have that with it, which is kind of a shame. Anyway, that's just me talking about my experiences with the PS4. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.